So yesterday, MAGA was celebrating the fall of not the fall. Israel, Iran hasn't fell yet, but they're celebrating with the 40 leaders that were murdered or killed or whatever. Which I don't. That's cool. I don't give a fuck about those people. You know what I mean? And they're tyrannical people. Um, what's the plan to replace them? But it from what I'm seeing on Twitter is there's three service people who have been killed in a result of Trump's bombing of Iran, and uh probably people obviously hurt because they're hitting our bases. I don't know why we even have fucking bases over there. um we need our soldiers here, to be honest, to protect our schools, to protect our infrastructure. I don't know why we have to have soldiers everywhere else unless we're getting paid to have them there. But it's like we have to pay to have them there and fight wars that have nothing to do with us. I don't know what it's this Trump's out here saying, "Oh, we can let them have nukes." It's the same thing that Bush said. It's the same playbook. And what we didn't. Why the fuck should Israel have nukes? Why the fuck should we have nukes? Why the fuck should anybody have nukes? You know what I mean? It's so stupid. And who the hell are we to say anything like that? Um, but who's to say that Russia can't give them nukes just because it's so stupid. Who's to say that North Korea can't give them nukes? It's utterly ridiculous. Iran can have it. Who's to say they can't get nukes from another country? China, any of these countries, any of these Europe countries that have nukes, Pakistan. Who's to say that they can't sell them nukes? And I'm sure a lot of companies are hard up and they're like, "Hey, we got a ton of money, we want a nuke. We'll buy it off of you, or we'll just, if somebody like Russia, hey, we'll just give it to you. You can have it. You can have it for free. Use it how you want to." What are we gonna do? Just go to war with everybody? Yeah, it's just stupid. The whole thing is stupid. But anyway, yeah, three soldiers apparently have lost their lives. I don't listen to mainstream media, but I guess it's not really being reported too much. So the whole Epic Fury thing isn't. There's been loss of American life because of it, because of Israel, always Israel. The reason why I'm really tired of Israel is because why else are we there? It's always some weapons of mass destruction and Iran. I don't care. I don't care if Iran nukes Israel. I really don't care. I don't care if Israel nukes Iran. Like, that's their business. That's not anywhere near me. But anyway, so apparently there was a terrorist attack with the FBI. I'm seeing on Twitter. It could be, who knows if this is verified yet or not, but there was a mass shooting last night at looks like a club. I seen a little bit of video, people doing like CPR, and this was what I said: you need to stay away from stuff like this. That's what I would do. Stay away from these events. Yeah, it's gonna hurt our economy. Yep. Who caused this? Who caused this is the Democrats and the Republicans, because they want to fight for Israel, and also the Democrats let everybody in our country, not even like vetting them, just let them in. That's why the Democrats. Oh, you're saying stuff about. They might think that they might like me because I say some stuff about Trump, like criticizing him, but I'm not on your side either. You fucking pieces of shit. I hate you too. And I don't think I won't go as far as Nick Fuentes when he says, like he said yesterday, that he's going to vote Democrat if the Republicans don't get. I just won't vote. I just will sit it out like I did before. The first time I could vote, I think I could have voted in the the 2000 election, I think it was, or the whenever Bush got elected, I could have voted, but I didn't, and I didn't vote the second time Bush got elected, but I did vote for Obama, but I didn't vote for that second term for Obama. Then I voted for Trump the last 3 times because I thought, like, man, there's something about him, and he's saying things. I like his policies, and he said that Iran shouldn't have it. Yeah, sure, but I would have hoped that we can go ahead and fix our problems first, but we're not. So anyway, there was supposed to be like 14 people hurt, and like 3 people lost their lives in a mass shooting last night in Austin, Texas. So and from what I'm seeing, there's I guess the FBI are saying it was a terrorist attack. Obviously, I mean, pretty much any mass shooting is a terrorist attack, but I guess, they're tying it to foreign terrorists, not domestic terrorists. Some type of school shooter is like basically a domestic terrorist usually. But it's, so I stocked up on food yesterday, topped it off. I went out last weekend, like I said, and I spent a good chunk of money. I spent about $250, got a bunch of non-perishable food. I got perishable food as well, but a lot of beans. I got rice. I got a lot of rice. I got a lot of beans and other things. I get a little bit more water. That's about it. But not saying that like everything will break down completely, but if we have supply chain shock like we did in 2020, that's why you want to like go ahead and get stuff in. And if we have to deal with high prices, the prices might go up now because of gas prices. Probably here's the thing too, is I didn't want to go nowhere today. Today is it's a nice cloudy day out today. Let me see if I can see. I probably can't see, but see if this thing will focus. I don't know. You probably can't see because it's too light out. But whatever. You guys don't give a fuck. It's a nice cloudy day. I like cloudy days. It might snow a little bit later today, which I'm hopeful. But these days I don't want to go nowhere. So this morning I went to the store and I topped off my car with gas. I had some points from grocery shopping I had to use, or they would expire. And then I have this gas canteen that I completely topped off. And the good thing for me is I work in town now, so I don't really have to travel that far. So that's definitely a good thing when gas prices probably go up. And I could walk to work if I really want to, which I'm gonna, when it gets nicer, I'm gonna do that anyway. But, since I changed my job and I don't have to drive so far anymore, I would have to fill up my car probably like 2. But I'm not that type of person that lets my gauge get all the way down to 0 like these people do. You're not a man. I don't like to risk it, So, I would get every 2 days I had to go to work. I had to fill up my gas because it used a lot of my gas. But I filled up my gas last weekend, drove back here 40 miles or so, and just using my car to go back and forth to work this week, it only takes me 3 minutes to get to work. It's a mile and a half away. I barely used any gas. So that's good for me. But yeah, you'll probably see gas prices go up tomorrow or this week because of this war with Iran that is for Israel. Again, always for Israel. I don't even think if Iran had nukes, they could even hit us, to be honest. So that's why I'm like, what does it matter? All they could do is hit Israel. How does that affect me? If they had nukes and they're a threat to hit us like Russia has capabilities, or China, or maybe like North Korea. I think they might have capabilities to hit like California or something. Yeah, I get it. But Iran doesn't have capabilities, as far as I know, that they can hit us, hit the mainland. They can hit our bases. Why do we have bases all over the damn world? It shouldn't be American bases. It should be, the NATO bases, the World Army bases, not American bases. And that's where we need to stop. We need to stop with all this American has to like, dude. And this crazy Trump. I guess Trump wants to spend 1.5 trillion on the military next year. Wild. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a good chunk of our GDP. I guess we're not going to try to pay the debt down. That's not going to happen. We're not going to even try to balance the budget. This is what I'm saying. Republicans and Democrats are at fault for our national debt and our low standard of living. If you want to know why your low standard of living is, it's like you feel like it's a decline. You still work the same hard as you did before, but it seems like you can do less and less. You can only, you don't have as much money at the end of the month or whatever, however you budget the end of the week to go do things that you want to do. It's because they keep printing out money and making the dollar, like lowering your buying power. And it's not just that, it's also greedy companies, greedy CEOs that need to have 280 times more than the lowest worker. So it's a both sides problem. This is pretty consistent where I've been too. I've called out both sides on this aspect. If you go back in my videos and you'll see, I've been calling out both sides. It's not just one side. Yeah, there's a greed problem for sure when the Democrats say that. The billionaires, they say the billionaires, but I say the millionaires as well. The millionaires and billionaires. They don't say the millionaires because they are millionaires. But and then the Republicans who blame the government, which is both. And that's a problem too. I think it's probably it's both, because like these rich people who really control everything, we don't really control much with our vote, but maybe we can vote, we got Trump in there or whatever, but they're still not going to listen to what we say, and that's pretty evident. Look at Trump. He hasn't really came through with any of the promise. Some of them. Oh, he secured the border. Oh man, he enforced the border laws. Wow, that's that should be default. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy that he gets a pat on the back for something. So it is a big deal because the Democrats left the border wide open. But it's like, dude, like that should be just like expected out of anybody. You should want to have people not coming in here illegally. We don't know these people. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what, there's no vetting process. We don't know if they hate us. We don't know if they're come here to their sleeper cells or whatever, want to commit terrorist acts or whatever. But my advice would be right now would be, try not to be black pill. Keep moving forward to see what happens. I mean, it is demoralizing. I feel demoralized. Like I felt demoralized at some times yesterday. The video I made about women and everything like that. That is demoralizing. But I want to live to see how things turn out. I want to see, basically, if don't try to take yourself out. And this is why I say, just because I don't want to be here no more doesn't mean I'm suicidal. That's not it. It's just I'm tired of this shit. I just feel stuck. I feel like there's not much I can really do. And I'm pretty much stuck in this situation. It doesn't really matter how hard I work, how many hours I work. It might help out a little bit, but then I'm going to have health benefits that are, my health's going to probably take a hit because I'm working so much. I'm seeing these people on Twitter, hustle. They're like, if you can sit down and watch TV, there's no reason why you can't have like rentals and have 3 streams of income. It's like, nobody wants to do all that, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like nobody wants to be a workaholic, and I don't want all that responsibility. I don't want to work so soon as my eyes are awake till they go till I shut them. I don't want to always be on call. I don't want to have to work every single day of my life. I don't want to always have to be worried about my business when I'm supposed to be on vacation. I'm sitting here like communicating, working on my vacation. Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like Peter Schiff the other. That's what I was basically saying. He's Sunday night and he's tweeting gold going up by like $15 every. It's like, dude, you're sitting here looking at gold prices on Sunday night, like, and then so you're tweeting on a Sunday night, yeah, too. Like, that's fine, but it's just like your whole life is about counting your money. You know what I mean? That's what I was getting at. Like, dude, you're such a fucking loser, man. Seriously. Like, your whole life, like, who wants to live like that? I think that this whole, this whole trope of like being an entrepreneur, they don't talk about the negative things about it. They don't talk about that you can't really ever relax completely. Yeah, and we should be able to relax. It is unnatural for people to not relax. People in the old days, this is how they worked. Even when they were living on the farms, or they made their own stuff, they were peasants. They didn't work non-stop like slaves every 365 days a year. No, they didn't. They relaxed. They chilled out. There wasn't harvest season in these climates that I'm in every part of the year. They worked their butts off during the summer for sure to store for the winter. But then in the winter, it was kind of like they went to probably chopped wood or, stuff like that, or, fed their animals or whatever they had to do. But they didn't work, from sun up to sundown, dude. They didn't do that. They relaxed too. You can look it up you can look it up yourself. They weren't just grinding constantly. If the people who are saying, oh, you need to always be like, I don't want to, okay? That's cool if you are a workaholic, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's all if you have no other purpose but to make money, that's on you, man. That's cool, man. I don't want to be rich to like be flashy to people. And I don't even really want to be rich anyway. I just want to be able to be. I just want the safety net, basically. That's all. The only. I think that's most of us people. We just want that safety net. If something goes wrong, we're okay. If we're out of work for like, a good portion of time because people like me have to use our body to make money. We're not going to be done. We're not going to be homeless. But what's happening if this continues and you want to keep taking from us and making it harder and harder for people like me who produce things to survive, what's going to happen is we're just going to stop working. Somebody tweeted, oh, hopefully you like your $200 gas prices, and if that happens, people will just stop working. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to work. Nobody can afford anything at that point. So it's like, what's the point? Right now, why I continue to go in this system is because I don't want to be homeless. But at some point, I'm just going to be like, dude, I'm fucking done. I'm just going to be homeless, whatever. It is what it is. It's not anything due to me because I worked and I'll continue to work, but it's just the system doesn't make any fucking sense. It's completely unfair. It's completely lopsided. And it's just like, dude, I don't want to I'm not going to work no more. And we'll just crash the economy. That's what's going to happen. A lot of people wake up and be like, I'm just not going to work. No, I'm just not going to participate anymore. And yeah, if we just stop, it'll crash everything. And all you rich people, Guess what's gonna happen? Guess who? We're gonna go to Mad Max, and guess who's the targets? Guess who has everything? Guess where everyone's gonna flock to? And the reason why people haven't, the reason why there hasn't been no revolution, which there would have been in the past, in this, our founding fathers would have never put up with any of this shit. They wouldn't have put up with the high taxation. They wouldn't have put up with the low standard. You're working hard, but your standard of living is decreasing. Like what? And you see rich people getting richer? They wouldn't have put up with this shit. But the reason why people aren't rising up at this point is because we're still fed. If our bellies, aren't being fed anymore, if there's a scarcity of food, or people aren't they're going to rise up. That's when it'll happen. That's when the big things will happen, and the rich will be the target, and it's your own doing. It's your own fault because you just want to keep stacking the cash, stacking the assets, stacking the wealth, and it's like, what is the fucking point? Why do you need to make 280 times more than me? Why? For what? What do you do that's so important that you need to make 280 times more than me? What is so important? If you love your job, if you love what you do, why is it so important that you make that money too? You should want to do it for free. I'm not saying you should do it for free. I'm saying, like, why can't you make $100 an hour? I make $18.93 an hour. Why can't you make $100 an hour? What's wrong with just $100 an hour? You know what I mean? Like, $100 an hour is pretty good. What's wrong with just like, $500 an hour? Just $500 an hour. You do your 40 hours like me. No, they get paid salary. They get paid differently. I know, but maybe you should get paid the same as me, like the same way as I do. You put in the hours, whatever, you get paid like I do. It's so crazy. If you think about it, let me see if I can do some real math real quick. Bear with me. I'm not going to. So let's just say, okay. Give it to my calculator. I don't really use it that much, so I'm gonna get to it. So I make $18.93 per hour. $18.93 per hour. Now it's backwards. Times that by 280, because it's supposed to be like 285. So basically, they make $5,000 an hour. Let's just say that this is 40 hours. 200. That's 200 and something $1,000 a year. 200 something $1,000 a year. Just the 40 hours. That doesn't seem right though. That doesn't seem right at all. Because if I make 50, if I make 50,000, around 50,000, 1893 times 40. So that's a week. No, wait. I didn't do that right. I didn't add it up. So I make $752 a week or whatever, and they make about was it $5,000 an hour? Oh, they make $250,000 a week times 40. Yeah, that's how much they make a week. That's what I was getting out. They make that a week. So times 52. So they make $11 million a year. You know what I mean? So why? For what? Like, what do you need to make that much money for? And then it trickles down the higher up people because they make buku bucks as well. But why do you need to make that much? For what? Why can't you make I understand you should have a higher standard of living than me for sure, but why can't you make $200,000 a year? Why can't you make $500,000 a year? What's wrong with that? $500,000 a year is pretty fucking good. You're living a really good life. Why do you have to have like the biggest mansion? Why do you have to separate yourself from us? The reason why they want to do that is because they want to separate themselves from us. They don't want to be amongst us. They look at us as peasants. And it's just like, fuck you. The peasants will, like, the reason why I say that, people, if this continues, especially if we see food shortages and famine and stuff like that, because I just look at history, man. Like, I'm not making any type of threats. The FBI has never came and knocked on my door. I've never talked to the FBI about anything I've said. This is just my observation. I look at how people have been treated by the elites in the past, where they're suffering, but the elites are living it up, and then people get pissed off. French Revolution, Haitian Revolution, the American Revolution. I don't know why I always look over here. Their camera's right there. But yeah, it's so, it's because I'm trying to look at myself. That's why I'm trying to look at myself in the picture. But it's because they're out of touch, and they don't care about, they just want to take and take. They're not doing the work themselves. They're not doing the hard work themselves to produce shit. No, we are. And like I said, I don't mind having a lower standard of living than these people. I really don't. They should have a higher standard of living. They have more responsibility, obviously. But like, there's no need for 280,000. I think that in the 60s it was like 21 to 1. So they made like 21% more, 21 times more than the lowest worker. And that's fine. 21 times more than me. I can't complain about that. What is that? Let's see real quick. 21. So I make $18.93 times 21. So, that's $400 per hour. That's reasonable. I'll just say 40. And so that's almost $16,000 a week. That's times it by 52. Almost $1 million a year. Like, dude, why can't they make that? Why do they have to make 11, 7? The highest one is like 17, 20. Like, why do they make this much? What do you need all those assets for? You can never spend it all. And here's another thing that I'm seeing too. There's this lie that's going on the internet that, like, rich people are minimalists. Like, they say, oh, poor people spend on life. It's like, poor people spend to look rich. And it's like, but rich people, they don't care. They'll just drive beat. Like, what rich person is driving a fucking beater? I just want to know, like, what rich person is living in squalor? What rich person is a minimalist? They are extremely wealthy. They have very nice, the best of everything. So I don't know who started this bullshit. They might be thinking like Warren Buffett. I don't know about right now, but back in the day, sure. And here's the thing too. When you make all this money, you make yourself to be a target. So you need all this extra security. Instead of like living a little bit better than us, that's fine. But you're putting yourself like at such a high level where it's nothing but poor people living, and then you have like all of this space, in this huge house, in this huge castle, and it's just ridiculous. And you basically have you, maybe your wife or your concubines. You got like a couple of kids that live in this huge castle. Then you have your staff to maintain all of it, because you don't maintain anything. You pay other people to do everything for you. You don't live like a regular person. So it's just, dude, I think that people are just getting tired of being shafted while these rich people just live it up. And we're tired of the government printing out more money for entitlements and subsidizing these rich people and, ultra, I don't mind people being helped out for sure. I think that people should be helped out. I think that kids should be taken care of. I think that older people should be taken care of. Social Security, I just don't. At this point, I think it needs to be done away with, and something else needs to be. It needs to be reformed. Um, all the people who say that I paid into social, all these boomers or Gen X who say that I paid into it for so many years. So have I, bitch. So have I. I paid into Social Security for 27 years. Okay, so. And I'm saying that we need to do away with it because I need that money now. I need that money now, especially if we keep progressing with technology. There is a good chance I could, in my later stages, which I will need. If I make it to like 70 or 80 years old, so my grandpa made it to 97, my other grandpa made it to about 84, my grandma made it to about 85, my other grandma made it to about 85. As long as I take care of myself, there's no reason why I shouldn't live that long as well. So the average lifespan is about 77. Even so, let's just say 77. I'm over halfway there. So let's just say in about 30 years, most jobs will be gone. Maybe not all jobs, but if we continue this trajectory with AI, most jobs will be gone. And we will have high, like Elon says, high income EBT or whatever he says. And I'm going to need it. And people like me are going to need that. But it's like, here's the thing. These boomers right now, not every boomer is rich, but a lot of these boomers don't even need the Social Security. They have a lot of assets. They have multiple houses. They have all this stuff that they could be selling. And it's like they're so rich. They don't need the Social Security. And it's like, why are you taking money out of my check? Why are you taking money out of Gen Z's check? I mean, to fund your life when you're already rich. We're just giving to the rich. Fund your own healthcare. I don't even have. What do you produce anymore? And like I said, you might want to take care of the people who actually produce things to keep this system running. You might want to take care of people like me. It's like, dude. When I'm old, I look at myself. I'm already old. I already look at myself like I'm already over the hill. But these people that are in their 60s or in their 80s, 70s, 80s, like, dude, like, what are you contributing anymore to society other than being a consumer? You know what I mean? What are you contributing? And then they wonder why the youth isn't having any kids, because it's like, oh, back in my... Dude, this is not back in your day anymore. Like, wake the hell up. How about you come and try to live like us, and then you'll be able to see. You don't have to... You live in a fucking bubble. It's like these rich people who are out here, or that don't have to go and die for Israel. They're all... These MAGA people are like, oh, blah, blah, yeah. They're all celebrating bombing Israel. Everything that Trump does, they just like... They won't criticize him at all. They're in a cult. And I've always knew this. This is why, Cat Turd blocked me, and a bunch of these MAGA people, when Cat Turd actually like responded to me a couple times, and he ended up blocking me because he's a little bitch. Anybody who blocks you is a bitch, okay? Andrew Tate, that's how I know you're a bitch, is because you block me. You can't handle, and it's like, they block you because, like, the discussion, you're making them look like shit. That's why they block you. They can't just like ignore what you have to say. Andrew Tate couldn't just ignore what I had to say and just move on because I'm a nobody. Yeah, I think at the time I don't. It doesn't matter. Like 13th, who the fuck am I? He's got millions of followers. Nobody knows who I am. Who the fuck cares? I might as well have 13 followers. It doesn't matter. Same with Cat Turd. You've got millions of followers and you're worried about somebody like me saying something to you. Like, what the fuck do you care? But I hurt their ego when I call them out. That's why they block me. I'm not trying to talk about me but I'm just when I talk about myself, I kind of just use myself as an example. It's not for narcissistic reasons. This is obviously my channel. This is obviously, so I'm gonna put some stuff in there so people actually could relate, maybe. But they're basically in a cult. I called out Cat Turd, when he started talking shit about Joe Rogan and not supporting Trump. And then, he ended up blocking, like, his response was, something with my punctuation or grammar. That's it. I spelt "your" the wrong way. And then he blocked me like a bitch because he couldn't handle the heat. Andrew Tate blocked me because I said he basically thinks he's entitled to, a pure young woman that hasn't had any bodies because he's rich and famous. And I'm like, who are you to, like, why are you so great? Are you pure yourself? You know what I mean? Like, just because you're rich doesn't mean shit. You're not entitled to any of that. And then he ended up blocking me because he knows I'm fucking right. And he couldn't handle that. And he knows that they don't like this. And Trump's the same way. Trump, like, all these people like people to stroke their ego. Okay. I swear to God, if I had any type of reach, I would probably create so much engagement on Twitter. It's unbelievable. I would attack basically everybody, almost everybody, because, like, it wouldn't just be people I agree with. I'll attack. I don't like something you said, I'm gonna attack you, and you should attack me too, and I'll attack myself. I'm a pragmatic person. Hey, listen, I'm calling out Trump. I think that this was a wrong move to do. I think that you should focus on America. You should focus on deportations. I don't think you should really worry about Iran right now. It's the last thing. I think you should worry about making our lives better. Not fighting wars for Israel. Let them fight their own wars. I think you should cut them off. Don't send them any more money. I think that Israel's America's biggest enemy. They're supposed to be our biggest ally. I think they're the biggest enemy. They're the one that keeps getting us into all these wars that cost American soldiers lives and cost us, devalues our spending power. George Bush cost America about $5 trillion of that national debt. Just him, because of the Iraq war, cost 1 million Iraqis lives because they want to do regime change. And sure, yes. This might not be the exact same thing, but it's still, like, it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us with inflation. It's going to, it's like, it's just like these people that are popular, they like a bunch of yes people to inflate their ego. They don't want to be called out. They don't want to live in reality. And it sucks. It sucks to like hear something like I could be wrong because, and it hurts your ego. Happens to me all the time. I get so much pushback. It's unbelievable. It seems like everything I say, I get pushback. And I'm just used to everybody, like, not siding with me. So, just it's basically me about myself. I'm mocked. I'm laughed at. I've been told I'm stupid. I'm told I'm low IQ, and it's like, I guess I have low IQ. I got 109 IQ. The average IQ is about mid 90s to 100 in America. Maybe it's getting lower, but I guess I have low IQ. How rare is it for? Hey, let's ask Grok. Let's ask Grok real quick. And I'm not trying to brag about my IQ, but I've taken multiple IQ tests, and I just it goes between 102 to 109. I think like 112. I get to the last questions and I kind of like, I it's like I don't really understand. Let's see. What percent of people in the world have a higher IQ than 109? Let's see what Grok has to say about this. 27% of the world has a higher IQ. I might than 109. I don't believe that. If the medium IQ is 100, well, maybe I am low IQ. Maybe I am low IQ, I guess. But no, I thought it would be a lot less. I thought there'd be a lot less high IQ people. A thing I was watching too. I was watching Good Will Hunting. I tried to watch that movie. I just watched it yesterday. Another good one is Midway. I was watching that last night. That's a really good flick. But I was watching Good Will Hunting and it was really interesting movie. Obviously the guy had Einstein IQ or whatever, but I don't know. Just go watch that movie, I guess. I don't know why I'm trying to connect the dots with this. That kind of threw me off because I thought I thought there'd be less people with higher IQ than 109 in the world, but apparently with all the people in the world, 27% of the world has a higher IQ than 109. So humbled. So I do have low IQ, I guess. But it's like these popular people don't want to be challenged on anything. And it's so crazy that they can just ignore. They can just ignore. Like who are you? When I was verified, I would just look at what verified people had to say. I wouldn't look at any unverified accounts. And now that I'm not verified, I get way less of a reach. So I pretty much look at everybody's that responds. But when you have higher reach, you shouldn't really care about what because this is how I will look at it. Usually, I always punch up. Okay, I usually never punch down. I'll click on their profile, and if it's like if they're around my followers, you know what I mean. I look at followers as like status at this point. That's all it really is. But I don't want to be one of those people who's like, someone's got a couple hundred followers, and that might be different now because I'm unverified, so I just like was whatever. But like when I was verified, I would just basically respond to people. I wouldn't punch down so much at people that had less followers. Like if they had 2,000 followers, I wouldn't really rail home at them too hard or anything like that. But I always like punching up. I like punching up at the people who have more followers, who has more status, basically. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so now it's like I basically have 13 followers. That's what it because I'm not verified. But I don't know what I'm getting with that. I'm sure it connected somewhere with whatever I was saying, but yeah, it's just like these people, they like to have a bunch of yes people, a bunch of yes people tell them, like, kissing their ass, and it's just like, dude, you're stupid. You're stupid, man. Like, I'm a nobody, and like, why are you blocking me? Why are you blocking me, Tates? They both block me. Sebastian Gorka, why are you blocking me? That JoJo woman that she blocked me. who else? There's other people that basically any leftist blocks me. Like, they'll respond to something I say, even if like even if it's just a reply, I never said nothing to them. They'll respond and then block me. It's like, why are you blocking me for what? Why would you respond and then block me so I can't say nothing back to you? It's like, there's so many weak people. These people shouldn't really even be on the internet. If you're not strong enough to handle criticism, don't put yourself out here. That's what I say. If you can't handle the criticism, if you can't just look past it, and it sucks, man. Yeah, it sucks when people are criticizing. It's not fun. I don't like it when people are sitting here hating on me, but it's kind of like you just shrug it off and keep moving forward. Because it doesn't matter how loved you are. It doesn't matter if like Will Smith was basically untouchable when I was growing up. Like, everyone loved Will Smith. You know what I mean? Everyone loved Will Smith. No one criticized Will Smith that I was aware of in real life. But then you see all the criticism after he did that Chris Rock song? Whoever he slapped in the face, I forgot. And, you see, everyone's susceptible to criticism. It doesn't matter how big you are, how famous you are. You can look at Elon. And I criticize him. Like, why do you need all those assets? You don't need all that. We need you guys to start giving back. I don't know what to tell you. It's just because they want more power. That's all it is. It's more power, more power. And it's like, dude, I want you guys. That's cool. I have no problem with you having power. But the way the system is, it's like, you're fucking us all over. And we're working hard. And we have to accept the lower standard of living while all you rich people it's like you're not giving anything back. You're just taking. It's like you guys are, it's like we're on the Titanic. America's the Titanic. And you guys have your lifeboats and we're just sitting here as a third class. And instead of having us on your lifeboat, you're just taking all the valuable stuff. You know what I mean? You're taking all your jewels, so it doesn't go down with the ship, and other people's jewels, my assets, while I just go ahead and go into the cold and die. That's basically how it feels. And like I said, this shit's unsustainable because a lot of people are feeling this. A lot of people are waking up and they're talking about this on the internet. Like, what are you people doing? You're just basically parasites at this point. You care more about status and stuff than you do about people. People don't matter anymore. Like, human life doesn't matter to you. You're just like those 13 soldiers who lost their lives. Like, nobody fucking is gonna, they just, they do what they're supposed to do. What about their families? And I know it's like, you don't know these people in person. So it's like, it doesn't really affect you. Like those you hear about people die all the time on the internet or the news, or if you're watching mainstream media or whatever. So you don't feel it unless like the people in person. But these rich people just keep on separating themselves like they're some type of kings or lords or whatever. Basically, that's what they are. They're just lords at this point. They think they're gods. They think that there are gods, and it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, but this is unsustainable. So if I was you, I would definitely start being more self-aware and self-aware of and be aware of the environment and the resentment. I fucking hate you people. I keep on looking over. I try to look. I fucking hate you people. I hate you rich people, and I'm getting that way about you popular people. It is resentment. It is bitterness. It's resentment because I work my ass off. I have to accept a lower status, which is fine. I don't mind it. I can be looked down on in society, like, oh, you're just a garbage worker. You're just a garbage man, or you're just a like this or that. That's fine. I get that, but I should be compensated correctly as well. And then when I'm seeing these CEOs just like make these huge salaries at our expense, basically, and the government like taxing us a ton, and like, why am I being taxed on my car? Why am I being taxed on a car I own? You know, like, you're not helping me out with the insurance. You're not helping me out with any of the maintenance on the car. You're just taking from me at this point. And if I had multiple cars, I get it, but just like, I can't. What's the point of owning shit? You know what I mean? What's the point of owning a house when if they really want to, they can just up the taxes as much as they want, making you bankrupt and taking your house. If they really want to, they could do that with my car. They could do that with your house. They can up these property taxes as much as they want. Who's stopping them? So, but yeah, it's the whole system. We're tired of the fucking system. We're tired of living like this. You know, we just want stable lives. We're tired of the recessions. We're tired of the booms and busts. We're tired of these CEOs like Jack Dorsey, and it's gonna happen more and more, who just laid off 4,000 people and made $600 million over in like an hour. Their stocks went up. We're tired of this shit. And you guys want to keep fucking around and not giving back, you're gonna find out. And I'm not threatening myself. I'm not advocating. I'm just saying, at some point people are gonna have what you're doing is you're putting people in a corner. You're basically attacking a wounded animal that's cornered. That's what basically we are at this point. We're wounded animals who are stuck with all this debt that we feel like we can't get out of. We're not being taken care of, and we have to continue to work this system. And you keep fucking us harder and harder and harder. Eventually, when you attack a wounded animal and you keep cornering us, people will lash out. And we've already seen this. This is not like my idea. I'm not coming out with this idea. You can already see the CEO of the health insurance company, who was shot cold-blooded in his back and killed. So we already see this. And you know, what do you think that guy? We don't know the motive. You know, it's a funny thing is, like, when I was growing up, these serial killers, they would come up with these shows, Unsolved Mysteries, and then we try to analyze these people. Why are they doing this? You know, it's just like, why are these people, they're put out here, right? They're put in the mainstream media. They did this and that. They put their name out there, but it's all of a sudden like they lock up their social media. They lock everything up so we don't know anything about these people. Why would they do what they did? You know what I mean? Like, there's no motive. It never comes out. Like, why did the guy try to shoot Trump? Why did the guy try to kill Trump? He shot him in the ear. Why did he do that? We still don't know. Why did that other guy? Why did that guy kill whoever killed Charlie Kirk? Why did they do that? We don't ever know the motive. It never comes out. It's just like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's so fucking stupid. Why do they keep locking up their social media accounts? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, man. But anyway, that's it.